Extreme heat changes everything inside a truck. A sleeper that feels fine in spring can turn into a steel bedroom sitting on hot pavement, with engine heat under the floor, sunlight trapped in the glass, and humid air that refuses to move. For a driver, comfort is not just a luxury. Bad sleep means slower reactions, worse decisions, and a miserable next day behind the wheel. The trucks that handle summer best are not always the prettiest or the loudest. They are the ones with enough sleeper space, good airflow, strong climate control, smart insulation, and room for the driver to live like a human instead of curling up behind the seats. That is where the right truck, the right sleeper setup, and the right driver habits make all the difference. Some rigs fight the heat better because they give the driver more space, better airflow, stronger climate control, and a real chance to shut down, cool down, and actually sleep before the next run. And if you like truck content that looks past the brochure and into real life on the road, subscribe to Smart by Motors, because this channel is built for people who care about the truck and the life inside it. Opening the countdown is the Freightliner FLD120, because this is the old-school reminder that comfort used to depend heavily on the driver's own tricks. The FLD was not trying to be a rolling apartment. It was a hard-working highway truck with a sleeper that could do the job, but only if the driver knew how to manage heat. In a rig like this, the first battle is sunlight. Big glass, dark pavement, and a cab that has been running all day can hold heat long after sunset. A smart driver blocks the windshield, closes the sleeper curtain early, parks with shade in mind, and starts cooling the bunk before it becomes unbearable. If the air conditioning is healthy and the truck has an APU or a good inverter setup, the FLD can still be livable. Without auxiliary cooling, summer nights get rough fast. It proves the basic rule. An older sleeper can work in extreme heat, but it demands preparation. A bunk fan, clean AC system, good curtains, and smart parking can turn a simple old Freightliner into a tolerable place to rest. The next truck is the International 9400, and this one brings more long-haul practicality into the picture. It was built for serious highway work, and its sleeper layout gives the driver a straightforward space to rest without feeling overly complicated. In extreme heat, that simplicity can be a strength. The 9400 is the kind of rig where a driver can understand what is working, what is weak, and what needs attention before the night gets miserable. When the AC is in good shape, the cab can cool down well while the engine is running, and that matters because the sleeper needs to start cold before shutdown. The challenge is heat soak. After hours on hot interstate pavement, the floor, dash, firewall, and sleeper panels can keep radiating warmth. The better move is to cool early, cut off the front cab with curtains, and keep air moving through the bunk. It will not feel like luxury, but it gives an experienced driver something valuable: control. And in brutal summer weather, control is what separates real rest from staring at the ceiling until sunrise. Moving into the Freightliner Columbia, the comfort conversation starts to feel more modern without becoming complicated. It sits right between the old-school mechanical world and the newer fleet era, which makes it familiar, common, and easy to equip. Many Columbias have been fitted with APUs, better inverters, upgraded curtains, improved mattresses, and bunk fans. And those details matter more than shiny trim when the truck stop is still radiating heat at midnight. The sleeper is practical enough to organize well, and organization is a real comfort feature. If bags, tools, food, and bedding block the airflow, the best cooling system in the world feels weaker than it should. Its weak point is neglect. Worn door seals, a dirty evaporator, weak blower motor, or leaking sleeper panels can make it feel hotter than it should. But a clean, well-kept Columbia with strong AC and auxiliary cooling can be a very sensible hot weather sleeper. It is not glamorous, but it is realistic. For working drivers, realistic comfort beats truck stop romance almost every night. From there, the Kenworth T600 adds a different angle. The T600 brought aerodynamic thinking into a shape that still felt like a real American road tractor. That matters because heat comfort does not begin only when the driver parks. A truck that rides efficiently and reduces fatigue during the day helps the driver reach the sleeper in better condition. Inside, the T600 can be comfortable with the right sleeper configuration, and older Kenworths often have a driver-focused feel that makes the cab easier to live with. In summer, the real advantage is the kind of owner this truck often attracts. T600 drivers who keep them on the road usually invest in them. They add insulation, fix air leaks, upgrade the bunk, install stronger fans, and maintain the climate system because they plan to live with the truck, not just pass through it. A sleeper does not become comfortable by accident. It becomes comfortable because someone cared about the seals, vents, curtains, mattress, and power supply. When properly set up, the T600 shows that a classic aerodynamic Kenworth can handle brutal summer nights better than many people expect. Once we move into the Peterbilt 379, the story changes again. This is one of the most beloved American trucks ever built, but nobody buys a 379 because it is the easiest sleeper to cool in July. People love it for presence, sound, simplicity, engine choices, and that unmistakable long hood character. In extreme heat, that character can be both a strength and a challenge. The long hood, big metal surfaces, and classic cab design can hold and radiate heat after a hard day on the road. A tired 379 with weak AC, poor curtains, and no auxiliary cooling can be punishing, but a properly set up big sleeper 379 can still be comfortable. Because many owners build these trucks around the way they actually live. They add APUs, high-quality fans, better mattresses, blackout curtains, upgraded inverters, and storage that keeps the bunk clear. The 379 does not give comfort away for free. It rewards the driver who knows how to manage it. Cool the sleeper early, block the glass hard, park with the sun in mind, and this truck can handle summer nights with dignity. The Freightliner Cascadia moves the list into a much more practical modern world. It may not have the romance of a long-nosed Peterbilt, but when the goal is sleeping comfortably in extreme heat, romance does not cool the pillow. The Cascadia was designed around efficiency, driver usability, and fleet reality, and those boring-sounding things become important when the temperature refuses to drop. Better sealing, improved airflow management, modern climate controls, and common APU or battery-powered HVAC setups make it one of the easier trucks to live with in hot weather. It also benefits from being everywhere. Parts are easy to find, shops understand them, and AC problems usually do not turn into a treasure hunt. The sleeper layout is practical, with room for curtains, fans, appliances, and bedding without making the cab feel like a storage locker. The fleet-spec Cascadia can feel plain, but plain is not the same as bad. In summer, a quiet, sealed, easy-to-service truck with good support is exactly what a driver needs. Then the Peterbilt 579 UltraLoft takes comfort more seriously. This truck still carries Peterbilt identity, but the sleeper is much more focused on modern long-haul living. The taller design gives the driver more space to stand, move, store gear, and separate the bunk from front cab heat. That makes a major difference in extreme heat because a cramped sleeper can feel oppressive even when the air temperature is technically under control. The UltraLoft gives the driver room to breathe. It also fits well with modern auxiliary power, inverters, refrigerator setups, fans, and better bedding, so the sleeper feels less like a bunk and more like a small working room. In hot weather, that roominess helps the driver build routines, cool the space before parking, close off the windshield heat, keep cold drinks nearby, and run a fan across the bunk. Spec still matters, of course. A well-equipped 579 with a proper APU or battery AC set can be excellent. A stripped-down version without engine-off cooling will still struggle, because heat does not care about the badge on the hood. The Kenworth T680 with a 120-inch ARI legacy sleeper takes that idea even further. A regular T680 is already a comfortable modern highway truck, but with a large ARI sleeper, it becomes a serious long-haul living space. This is the kind of setup built for drivers who do not just visit the sleeper at night, they live in it. In extreme heat, that matters because comfort becomes a complete system. There is room for better airflow, real storage, a refrigerator, microwave space, quality bedding, and a layout that lets the driver keep the bunk clear instead of stacking life on top of the mattress. The T680 platform brings modern road manners and efficiency, while the custom sleeper brings the space to rest properly during layovers and resets. The big advantage is separation. In a smaller cab, heat from the windshield and dash can influence the whole sleeper. In a larger ARI setup, the driver has more ways to control the sleeping area, close off solar heat, and move air where it matters. When the climate system is sized right, this feels less like surviving in a truck and more like managing a small mobile room built around the driver's needs. Near the top, the Western Star 5700 with a 168-inch custom ARI sleeper is almost in a different category. This is not a normal bunk with a curtain and a little storage. This is a custom living space that can turn extreme heat from a nightly battle into something far more manageable. A large sleeper allows better insulation, stronger electrical systems, more serious climate control, better airflow routing, and enough room for the driver to actually move around. That matters during brutal heat, because discomfort is not only temperature. It is being trapped in a tight space, surrounded by warm surfaces, with gear everywhere and no way to reset mentally. A big custom sleeper changes that. The driver can keep food and water cold, manage bedding, use fans effectively, and separate the living area from the hottest parts of the cab. The downside is obvious. A sleeper this large is expensive, heavy, and not practical for every route or business model. But if the question is how truck drivers sleep comfortably in extreme heat, this setup is one of the clearest answers. At the top, the Volvo VNL with the 132-inch ARI legacy sleeper brings the most complete answer. Volvo has long been respected for cab comfort, quietness, ergonomics, and a more relaxed driving environment. When that is paired with a serious custom sleeper, it becomes one of the strongest hot weather living setups in the archive. The reason it works is balance. Some trucks bring nostalgia, some bring size, some bring simplicity. This one brings refinement and livability together. In extreme heat, a driver needs more than cold air. The truck has to seal well, stay quiet enough for real sleep, provide electrical support, allow smart curtain separation, and give the driver room to organize life without blocking airflow. The big ARI sleeper gives that living space, while the VNL platform makes the daily driving side less draining. That matters because sleep quality starts before the truck ever parks. Once parked, the setup gives room for auxiliary climate control, fans, cold storage, better bedding, and a sleeping area that feels removed from the heat trapped in the windshield and dash. As an answer to the title, it is the strongest fit, control over heat, noise, space, and recovery. Extreme heat exposes the truth about every sleeper cab. Chrome does not matter when the bunk is hot. Nostalgia does not help when the windshield has been baking all afternoon. The trucks that work best are the ones that let the driver manage sunlight, airflow, power, insulation, and space before the night turns miserable. From old-school Freightliners that demand skill to custom ARI sleepers that feel almost like small apartments, the secret is the same. Comfort comes from a truck built and maintained around the person living inside it. Subscribe to Smart Buy Motors for more real-world truck stories that go beyond specs and show how these machines actually work on the road.